Hey guys, welcome to Trick Tip Thursday. Today we're going to be talking about how to get started on tricking. Once again, just making the emphasis that this is going to be a community type of channel. So if I miss any tips or if you have your own tips that can benefit me or someone else, make sure you comment it down in the section below. Before we start, a couple disclaimers. Number one, make sure you always warm up and stretch before any activity. I don't want you guys to get hurt. Number two, know your limits. If you can't gainer, I don't want you going out there and trying to triple cork. That's not going to be a good idea. Also, make sure you're always practicing in a safe spot. Don't practice in concrete unless you know what you're doing. Don't be like me. When you're practicing, always practice in a safe spot, such as grass. If you don't have grass, go into like your local martial arts studio. Check out Legacy Martial Arts. Not a shameless plug or anything. Next best thing, tumble tracks. Other than that, like my favorite place to do it will be doing spring floor. If you have access to a spring floor, you're in luck. Make sure you go practice that. It's a little hard to get into spring floor here in Oxnard. That's why me and my friends usually drive over to Northridge or Reseda to go to jam like we did last week. Just make sure you always practice safely and know your limits. Quick note, I'm going to be using different types of terminology in these videos. One, I'm going to be using mainstream terminology. Mainstream terminology is the terminology most trickers out there already know, such as 540, 720 hooks, stuff like that. I'm also going to be using Dan Perez, aka The Professor. I'm going to be using his true kick terminology. The reason I love his terminology, I'm a computer science major and I like things to be accordingly straightforward. There's no confusion with his terminology. I will be slightly explaining it, but I'm not going to go too much into detail with it. You can always look it up yourselves. Unless you guys request it, I'll be happy to go over that. Other things, the reason I want to put an emphasis on terminology is if we're going to start an online community where we talk on text, forums, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever it be, I want us to be able to be on the same page. That way when we're sharing and trying to grow our skills, we know what we're talking about. That being said, first things first, let's figure out which way you want to spin. Now the easiest way to learn how to spin is just jump, turn to the left, jump, turn to the right, and see which one feels most comfortable. The other way you can do it, the way I started doing it, is do a bear roll. If you don't know what a bear roll is, pretty much what's going to be is like a cartwheel. Just keep your knees bent, hands really short. That way you feel safe. Especially if you're new at this, you've never done it. This is the way to go. You're going to bear roll to the left, and you're going to bear roll to the right. Don't stress too much about finding which way you want to spin. Trust me, it's going to come pretty natural, especially once we start jumping and kicking in the air. If you can always change your mind later. When I first started tricking, I always went to the right. A few years later, I noticed, oh, it's easier for me to go my left. And that's when I started going to the left. So you can always change it. It's not impossible. Once you figured out which way you spin, let's talk about stances. It's really important to know where you're starting and where you're going, just like a road on the map. If you want to go to McDonald's, well, McDonald's is not a good example. If you want to go to the gym, you got to know where you're at, your home, at work, at the store. You got to know where you're going. Let's compare this to skateboarding. I don't know if there's any skateboarders out there or anything of the nature, but we have, for the most part, 2 or 3 major stances. You have the regular stance, you have the goofy stance. I think it's called the Mongol. Don't hate me. For the most part, you're going to have regular and you're going to have goofy. For tricking, we're going to define 4 different stances. We're going to get our front side and we're going to get our back side, and we're also going to have open and close. We're not really going to be worried about open and close right now. Just this is, once again, just how to start tricking. I want you to define your back side and I want you to define your front side. Now here's the way you're going to do it. If you're spinning to the left like me, when your right leg is back, left leg's forward, that's going to be your back side. If your left leg is back, right leg is forward, your chest facing your target, or the way you're going to go, that's going to be your front side. If you're spinning to the right, everything I said is just reverse. Spinning to the right, if my right leg's back, left leg forward, that's going to be my front side. If my left leg's back, right leg forward, that's going to be my back side. Cool. Now that you're getting the basics of tricking, let's go to the main part, the part you guys really want to know. Let's get into the kicking. So there's going to be 2 major kicks that a tricker needs to know. That's going to be their round kick, it's going to be their hook kick. For the most part, anytime you're kicking from your back side to your front side, that's going to be called your round kick. Anytime you're going from a front side to your back side, that's going to be your hook kick. Traditionally, round kicks, you're going to pick up your chamber, you're going to pivot over, and extend your kick out. Hook kick, we're going to think of it a reverse hook kick. You spin over your shoulder, hook, and we're set. Now, those are the 2 main kicks. Their cousins, at least I like to think of their cousins, are going to be their outer crescent kick and the inner crescent kick. I'm not going to necessarily say that these kicks are easier, but they're easier for me. My hip flexibility is not the best. It's hard for me to go into the center splits. However, my hamstring flexibility is pretty good. So anytime I throw such as tornado kicks or tsunami kicks, stuff like that, I always end up throwing inner crescent kicks, outer crescent kicks. Sometimes this makes my kicks look really nice, and on other kicks such as 540s and stuff like that, I can see why round kicks and hook kicks are really important. So make sure you drill those round kicks and your hook kicks because they're going to be very necessary for more advanced kicks. For the meantime, if you're like me and you're struggling with that hip flexibility, make sure you can always turn into inner crescent kick, outer crescent kick. For the inner crescent kick, same as the round kick, starts and backside, pick on over, just keep your legs straight, pull straight up, and pull straight down. That's going to be your inner crescent kick. Your outer crescent kick, just like the hook kick, you're going to be on your front side. From right there, you spin over, keep that leg straight, lift straight up, and lift straight down. That's going to be your outer. Inner because one's going inside, outer because the other one's going to the outside of your body. Alright guys, that's all I have for you this week. Make sure you really learn which way you feel most comfortable. Figure out where your stances are, because if you don't know where your stances are, you don't know where you're going to be going. Make sure you practice that round kick and that hook kick. Once again, if you're having hip flexibility issues, make sure you practice that outer crescent kick, inner crescent kick. Still aim for the round kick and the hook kick. Don't be like me, otherwise the kicks are going to look horrible. Make sure you have proper technique if you want to be a really good tricker. Also, shameless plug, if you want more help with your stuff, check out Legacy Martial Arts. I teach there on Saturdays. Ask them about the tricking program. I'm sure they'll give you more information. I'll be happy to help. Finally, if you have any other tips or anything that you think is going to help the community, me included, make sure you put it down in the comment section below. I would love to read those. I'm pretty sure everyone else will love to read them too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.